Hi friends, I welcome you all to today's discussion with regard to finance related current affairs for upcoming RBI Grade B examination. And the topic which we are going to discuss today is priority sector lending, lending by banks to NBFCs for on lending. We are going to decode this topic in the form of MCQs today. So friends, now let's start discussion on some of the important MCQs which can be framed out of this particular topic. So starting with the first question, as per priority sector lending guidelines of RBI, dash of the total net bank credit should go to priority sector advances. Options are 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% or none of the above. So friends, first and foremost, we must be aware about this basic concept of priority sector lending. Now, priority sector lending is lending to those sectors which the Government of India and Reserve Bank of India considers as important for the development of the basic needs of the country, and these are to be given priority over the other sectors. For example, agriculture, micro, small and medium enterprises, export credit, education, housing, social infrastructure, renewable energy, etc. So the banks, they are required to mandatorily contribute to these priority sectors. They are required to grant loans to these sectors to encourage the growth of such sectors with adequate and timely credit. 40% of the total net bank credit is to be given as priority sector advances. So basically the banks, they have to comply with this priority sector lending criteria. So friends, this was a pretty straightforward question, a very easy one, and we can easily answer that. The banks, they are required to contribute 40% of the net credit to the priority sector. So clearly the answer is going to be option number C. Now moving on to the next question. Reserve Bank of India has recently given priority sector tag to bank loans extended to registered non-bank lenders for financing. Options are agriculture, small businesses, home buyers, all of the above or none of the above. Now friends, this particular circular about which we are talking to today primarily draws from the previous circular which was very similar and was issued on August 2019. So the new circular primarily mentions that the earlier circular issued in August 2019, which was relevant for the financial year 2019-20, is going to be relevant for the financial year 2021 as well. So if we talk about what this previous circular has to say, then this previous circular was also titled Priority Sector Lending by Banks to NBFCs for on lending. Now, whatever we study in the previous circular is going to be applicable for this in this circular as well, for this financial year as well. So the previous circular, it mentions that in order to boost credit to the needy segment of borrowers, it has been decided that the bank credit to registered NBFCs for on lending will be eligible for classification as priority sector under respective categories subject to the following conditions. So basically it provides that the bank credit to NBFCs for these three categories will be allowed as priority sector lending. So these categories are agriculture, on lending by NBFCs for term lending component under agriculture will be allowed up to rupees 10 lakh per borrower. Then is micro and small enterprises. On lending by NBFC will be allowed up to rupees 20 lakh per borrower. Then is the housing part. Enhancement of the existing limits for on lending by housing finance companies from rupees 10 lakh per borrower to rupees 20 lakh per borrower. So basically this was the previous circular which is now applicable even for the current financial year as per the RBI's recent circular or the notification. So based on our discussion on the previous slide, now we can easily answer this one, that RBI has accorded the priority sector tag to the bank loans extended to registered non-bank lenders for financing all of these sectors. So clearly the answer is going to be option number D, all of the above. Next question. In order to boost credit to the needy segments of the borrowers, it has been decided that the bank credit to registered NBFCs for on lending will be eligible for classification as priority sector under the respective categories. In this regard, on lending by NBFCs for term lending component under the agriculture will be allowed up to rupees 10 lakh per borrower, rupees 20 lakh per borrower, rupees 30 lakh per borrower, or rupees 40 lakh per borrower, or none of the above. So friends, as we've already discussed in the explanation part in the previous question as well, we have discussed about the previous circular, that how this is going to be applicable in the current financial year as well. Now in this previous circular, we talked about the three categories as well as the conditions specified with regard to the limit per borrower. And with regard to the agriculture, we learned that for term lending component, the limit is rupees 10 lakh per borrower. So the answer is going to be option number A. Moving on to the next question. In a circular dated August 13, 2019, RBI permitted classification of bank loans to registered NBFCs for on lending as priority sector under respective categories up to 31st March 2020. RBI has recently reviewed the circular and decided to. Options are: terminate the scheme with immediate effect, extend the priority sector classification for bank loans to NBFCs for on lending for financial year 2020-21, set up a committee to deliberate on the success of the move, expand the ambit of the scheme to all the financial entities in India and abroad, none of the above. So friends, if we talk about what this present circular has to say, so the circular states that after undertaking a review, it has been decided to extend the priority sector classification for bank loans to NBFCs for on lending for financial year 2020-21. So basically it has been decided to continue the priority sector classification for bank loans to NBFCs for on lending for the current financial year, that is 2020-21 as well. Existing loans which are dispersed under the on lending model will continue to be classified under the priority sector till the date of repayment or maturity. So the existing loans, they will continue to come under the priority sector till they are repaid or till they mature. Now the bank credit to the registered NBFCs, excluding the microfinance institutions and housing finance companies for on lending, will be allowed up to an overall limit of 5% of the individual bank's total priority sector lending. So a bank cannot say that I will meet my entire quota of priority sector lending by granting finances to the NBFCs or the housing finance companies. This limit has been kept that the bank credit for on lending will only be allowed up to the overall limit of 5% of the individual bank's total priority sector lending. So friends, based on our discussion which we had on the previous slide as well as the discussion which we had on the previous questions as well, we can easily mark the correct answer here, that RBI has decided to extend the priority sector classification for bank loans to NBFCs for on lending for financial year 2020-21 as well. So the answer is option number B. Moving on to the next question. In recent circular, RBI has decided to extend the priority sector classification for bank loans to NBFCs for on lending for financial year 2020-21. In this regard, which is are true? Options are: existing loans dispersed under the on lending model will continue to be classified under priority sector till the date of repayment maturity. Existing loans dispersed under the on lending model will be classified under priority sector till the date of repayment maturity in the year of dispersal. Bank credit to registered NBFCs other than microfinance institutions and housing finance companies for on lending will be allowed up to an overall limit of 5% of the individual bank's total priority sector lending, both A and C or none of the above. So friends, based on our discussion which we had in the explanation part of the previous question, we can apply the same to this question as well, and we can easily answer this one, that the existing loans, they are going to continue to be classified as priority sector till the date of repayment or maturity, and the bank credit to NBFCs and HFCs for on lending will be allowed up to an overall limit of 5% of the individual bank's total priority sector lending. So clearly the answer is going to be option number D, both A and C. So here we end this session. Thank you friends for watching this video and stay tuned for more updates.